teachers of Reddit, what was your oh wow that's impressive, but I still have to punish the kid moment? I teach a tech certification class here for a local non-profit. Just a week or so ago I was walking the students through using Task Scheduler in Windows when my phone started to blow up with emails. Turns out one of the students created a dozen scheduled tasks to send me an email every 5 minutes. Title: cats 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 cats. Body: cats 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 cats. You get the picture. Needless to say, his punishment came in the form of a scheduled task running as a service on his PC that randomly ejects the optical drive at different intervals. He has not figured out why this is happening yet, and it's forcing him to learn how to troubleshoot an issue, so I see it as a win. God, that reminds me of back in the day when we had to take computer literacy in middle school in the dark ages of the late 80s. We had a student teacher who was observing/helping in that class, and one of the things she had to teach us was how to do code in BASIC. Yeah, that's how old I am. I would write all kinds of crazy programs to leave her insane messages after class was over. Fortunately, she thought it was funny and not offensive, although the most offensive thing I probably coded it to say was cow farts smell like sulfur candles. How is that offensive? What else do cow farts smell like? ESL teacher here. So I teach high school ESL class where most of my students either don't speak any English or they speak very little. I had a student in there who was constantly disruptive and liked to bully the other kids to establish his manliness. One day, the disruptive kid is doing his normal annoying shtick and out of nowhere, my quiet little Latina in the corner of the room, in the clearest pronounced English I've ever heard her speak, said, "You stupid mothertrucker." I had to hold in a laugh. I then had a quick conversation with her and congratulated her on the clear pronunciation, but also told her she couldn't say that in class. It's always the quiet ones. We're always planning and paying attention. When the quiet kids speak up to trash you, that's when you should know that you fricked up. My husband used to work in after school care. One time he saw two kids starting to fight in the sandpit. He headed over to try to calm them down. But while he was on his way, one kid ran at the other, who just calmly flipped the first kid over his head like a textbook martial arts move. My husband said he had to stop himself from shouting, "Wow, great job." I fought a lot as a kid because I was fat and prideful. I learned how to throw someone over my shoulder early, at about 8 years old, and that became my move until I got in trouble years later because someone tattled. No one ever believes the bigger kid didn't start the fight. As young teens, my buddy and I used to practice simple judo moves on each other with no training because we were idiots. Then one time I was jumped by 3 guys I knew from school, and one got me around the neck from behind. I executed an almost flawless over the shoulder throw, whatever that move is called when you know what you're doing, without even thinking about it, and all 4 of us basically stopped and high-five-d'd each other over how awesome that just was. Then I took a pretty good beating and grew up to brag about it on the internet one morning. The end. I had a classmate jump on the teacher's computer and visit a website that would go full screen and make it seem like it was a Mac now instead of a PC. It was April's Fool's Day and this was his prank. This was in like 2003, so security wasn't the conversation it is today. Anyway, he still got in trouble. The teacher got really angry and kind of yelled at him to sit down in the corner. She called in the vice principal, then the principal, then the on-campus police office, and then when he was good and terrified, all 4 turned to him and said April Fools and let him off the hook. He got his punishment though. He was terrified. AHH. I enjoyed this story. Thanks for sharing. A student in one of the schools I work at had us close to a full-service bar and smoke shop set up in a couple of lockers as you can get. The lockers were located in a corner of the hallway that is easily obscured and difficult to monitor. The kid just slapped his own locks on there and nobody noticed. When he was caught, the lockers were found to have several makeshift shelves in them and contained several bottles of hard liquor, some solo cups, and paper shot glasses in one of them. The other contained a backpack containing some weed and various other drug paraphernalia for sale. The kid had quite the little enterprise going, and God knows how much money he made before he got caught. I was shown pictures of what was in the locker, and I had to admit, given what he had to work with, it was quite an Impressive setup. Of course, I'm sure he was brought up on a significant number of charges, but still, even the principal had to give him credit for the setup. That kid's going places. Probably jail, but I hope he managed to stay out of it long enough to apply those business skills in a meaningful way. I'm an art teacher. Had a student submit his art book with a great variety of different peen drawings. One was an impressive concoction of two cat heads as the testicles and a detailed furry shaft. As his was assessment, I had to ring his mother to let her know. Me, your son has handed in his assessment, and it has peens drawn all over it. Mother, I'm sorry you find my son's style of art offensive. Me, personally, I'm not offended. However, it does go against our school's graffiti policy. Sounds like the style was quite good. It's the subject of the art that was questionable. I still wonder about his motive, as he knew I was going to see it. A+ for creativity. My coworker and I discovered that one of our students was running an underground crime syndicate selling individual icebreaker mints for 50 cents a pop. We agreed not to punish him or inform the administration, but we did confront him privately and told him he needed to stop before it got him in trouble. He had about a half dozen employees and was selling at every grade level by the time we put an end to it. Kid was a C student at best, but he's definitely going places. Breaking Bad theme starts / What has better profit margin, selling meth or selling individual mints for a 1000% markup? In a school I used to work in, Ethernet in Asia, there was a kid who was frequently in trouble, but at his core, was a good kid. He was always late / failing exams / not doing homework, or having arguments with teachers over stuff. He only argued if he genuinely felt the teacher was in the wrong. At times they were. However, he was a genuine and funny kid and just lacked motivation. He was also kinda picked on by a group of boys in his class. Now, as an English teacher, I assigned the kids into groups and asked them to write a song / rap / poem that they could perform for the class in English. This kid decided it was his chance to destroy the guys in his class picking on him. He whipped out a rap that wrecked them, which included 2 lines: "Get all the chicks, but it's hard to please with their tiny peens." I had to punish him, but goddamn, I was impressed. Did you grade the students on the assignment? If so, then I'm guessing you didn't grade the kid's bullet, as he already gave them a D. Teacher probably just set their papers on fire as a grade for those burns. Obligatory, not me, but I was there. Background: my principal was like mid-50s and always wearing suits. Christian high school. He also had a lazy eye and a pot belly. Nothing too out of the ordinary. We had Spirit Week, and one of those days is Twin Day. So one kid decides to have a mad lad day and dress up as our principal. Bonus points: he was the only kid at school with a lazy eye. So this little punk shows up in a suit, a pillow stuffed underneath his shirt for the pot belly, and just calmly sat at his desk. My principal, also doubling as math teacher, was turned doing problems on the board. He turns back, sees this punk ass kid, turns back to the board, swallows the laugh, and turns back saying, "Better be glad I don't." Beat kids. Detention. Punk kid served detention still in his twin suit, pillow gut and all. Such examples include 1. Dressing up in a girl's cheerleading uniform to cheer the basketball team leaving for a huge tournament. 2. Bringing Harry Potter to class, banned because it promoted witches and warlocks and demons, visited Rowling and told her the spells, so the book was Satanist lol. Also, Pokemon was banned for promoting evolution. 3. Got yo-yos banned for accidentally hitting a kid in class. 4. Getting in a trash can and being wheeled around as he pretended to take pictures of people before sports games. 5. Putting a fart machine under another student's desk and continually setting it off during a test. Sounds like a tyrant if he couldn't take a harmless joke like that. Not a teacher, but when my mad lad English teacher was in school, he was voted in by his peers as prefect after he promised them vending machines and pool tables. He then told everyone that he lied about putting in vending machines and pool tables and explained why democracy is inherently flawed. And they say school doesn't teach you life lessons that will be relevant in real life. If only I could've had a math class on taxes instead of whatever the hell pre-calc was supposed to do for me. First time I caught students cheating, it was two 8th grade girls that had all of the same wrong answers on a vocabulary matching test. I pulled the girls aside after class to ask about it, and after some sheepish grins they both admitted that a third girl, their friend who was an A+ student, had fed them both incorrect answers on purpose. She screwed over her friends because she was mad they were mooching. For punishment, the first two girls got to keep their very poor test grades. The mastermind got your friend's arm mad at you as her punishment. Natural consequences. Yo, almost every kid has done this. I feed a guy wrong answers throughout an exam. He ended up getting a fat 0 on that exam. Then had to look at me happily receiving my 94. Yes, I'm ready to boil in hell for that one. A class teacher. Don't know what's the right word. He was basically the teacher responsible for us. Really had to hold back his laughter when punishing a guy in my class. That dude managed to redneck engineer a smoke bomb that made the classroom unusable for 2 days in like 15 minutes. We all probably inhaled not so healthy fumes that day, but damn, it was impressive, especially when comparing it to the tutorial he followed. My friend's dad tells the story of the time they were being taught how to make rotten egg gas in chemistry class, and the teacher unwisely left the room for something. The boys promptly dumped all the ingredients in the mix and decamped to the football field, where they watched the heavier than air gas fill the room and cascade down from the upper story chemistry lab. It enveloped the classrooms beneath. All hell broke loose, and there was no more school that day. My sister is a teacher, and with my grade, a year before I started attending that school, at my school, my sister is 17 years older than me. She was almost my BO teacher in high school. She moved before then though. She teaching high school chemistry and was showing the kids how to do an experiment involving batteries. She mistakenly mixed the chemical just wrong, so that rather than making a simple battery, it started to emit chlorine gas, as in WW1 chlorine gas. She quickly realized what was going on and stuffed it into the chemical hood and turned on the fan. But similarly, there was no more school that day. My classmates still tell legends about the time that their teacher made chlorine gas in grade 10